episode of CGWC Youth International content right here on our page. So last week we talked about love, love. So today we have an interesting topic to talk about.
Very interesting.
There's been an obstacle to teenagers out there. Okay.
Even both of contention.
And my name is Akili Oluwashawa, and here is my colleague.
My name is Falade Gideon Timitope.
So the topic for today is sex. Sex. Like, once the hear sex, like what actually comes to your mind?
Let me ask you, what is sex?
You want to ask me? It's like having, we can't call it intimate, like a sexual intercourse between a man and a woman.
But it is still with intimacy.
Okay, yeah, we can actually say it's intimacy, though. But to me, I feel like a lot of people have abused the word sex.
Okay.
Just like we said in our last topic, a lot of people have abused love. But right now, we're talking about sex. When you say sex, we have a lot of teenagers that are actually having sex, like, you know, having sex with their boyfriend, their so-called boyfriend and girlfriend, which God has not even advised us to do. Yeah, fine, God created sex for what? For married people to have sex, and when both of you are what? Legally married, right? But now we have boyfriend and girlfriend, girlfriend. Why?
Okay. If we are to talk about who can have sex,
okay,
if we are to talk about that, okay, I wouldn't want to base my definition or how I want to portray it without a biblical reference. Okay, if you check the Bible, check 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 1 to 2. I mean, which says that now for the matters you wrote about, it said it is good for a man not to have sexual relationship with a woman. But since sexual immorality is occurring, each man should have sexual relation with his own wife.
He quote his own wife, not his girlfriend. Do you understand? Not his side chick.
Hey, Jesus.
His wife.
Okay.
No, we need to emphasize.
Of course.
We need to let people know that what is wrong is wrong. It doesn't have two names.
With his wife.
Exactly.
And in conclusion of that Bible verse, it is saying that again and each woman with her own husband.
Exactly. No boyfriend.
That's why you see recently there's a news on the TV. You see people going for DNA. My God.
Let us go into that one. That was another topic for another day.
Okay.
Another topic, guys. Another topic. But now we're talking about like husband having sex with his own wife in particular, not girlfriend, not side chick. A lot of people actually becoming side chick to married men. Married men that you cannot marry, he has his own family, but yet we ought to like term ourselves as side chick. Why?
There's even sugar mommy and sugar daddy.
That one. Lord will help us in Jesus' name. Lord will help us.
So the person who can have sex or who can be involved in sex, as from our Bible reference today, it is a man who is the husband, a woman who is that man's wife, which means it should happen between couples.
Married, legally married people.
And they should be legally married.
Of course.
With all prices being paid.
Okay, And even if you're talking about this sex, like for the teenagers, do you understand? Like we have a lot of things that actually prompt these sexual feelings or for them to have sex. So if you have to look at the reasons or the causes or what can we say, the youth.
So automatically you're talking about premarital sex.
Exactly.
You're talking premarital sex. In fact, the name premarital sex already defines what it means. Premarital. It means that before you being married, which is unacceptable before God.
Exactly.
In fact, it is, if you are to term it on the other way around, it is more or less like you're sinning against God, you're sinning against your own body.
Because our body is the temple of God.
Of course.
So
if we'll be talking about what causes premarital sex, now, one of the things I would like to first highlight is peer pressure.
Yes, that's a huge.
So many of us, we have given chance, we have given room for peer pressure to sink into our thoughts and our decisions. So many people, they can, I don't know, so many of us, I wouldn't want to say so many of them. So many of us doesn't mean that it is all of us. So many of us, have actually given chances. I mean chances for peer pressure. You see, because your friend is doing this, doesn't mean that you also should do it. Because your friend, they are doing what is against God and their own body. Is it a must that you should do it? So one of the causes for premarital sex is peer pressure.
Because they're ignorant, they don't know.
You see, probably you are still struggling to manage 100 naira that is given to you. So
Exactly.
one of the reasons or one of the causes we should look into, we should be careful of is peer pressure.
And even social media influences.
Yes.
Like you see a lot of challenges. Even this challenge you're talking about, swim that what are they calling it?
I don't know how to pronounce it, so my teeth will not for them.
This little challenge, you know, we as Christians, like there's difference between you being a Christian and you being called a Christian. There are some kind of things we do that doesn't even like it's uncalled for.
Of course.
Like premarital sex. Even God created sex for us like freely. Like go and have sex when you are married, but now you pay for sex. Go and have sex if you pay 1.5. 1.5, pay 1.5. You want to go there 5,000 naira. So now we're talking about the social media influences now, and we see a lot of things that are being posted online. Like even this technology, internet stuff now, it has disadvantages and advantages. Like the advantage is more than disadvantages itself. Like you see them posting a lot of things online, like they are doing this, they are doing that. They'll tell you, okay, for me to give you 1,000 naira, for me 1,000 naira recharge card, you need to strip yourself naked. I need to have sex with you.
Give away.
I need to have sex with you. Give those kind of things. I think social media is also what causes this premarital sex as well.
Yes, it is without proper orientation.
Yeah.
It is without proper orientation because you see a lot of people we just go online because majority are doing it because it is a trend. You also want to trend.
Yeah.
That is one of the big issues we have. In fact, as a matter of fact, it is very difficult for you that you go online when you are surfing the net. It is, in fact, if you surf the net for 5 minutes, there is high probability that you will come across stuff or content online.
They're not worthy to be seen.
So it means that if you are with a correct orientation, and if you are not with the correct orientation now, it means that you should start working on yourself.
Right
that
now.
It is unavoidable that you meet those things online.
Yeah.
Then how do you treat them personally?
And sorry, even the social media stuff, it leads to like masturbation. Like once you know we have a lot of people fighting against.
That's when they are into pornography.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever you see anything, do you understand? So my whole point is, how do you think someone who is addicted to like pornography? No, once you're addicted to something, it takes the grace of God to come out of that thing.
Okay. So
like in quotes now, like those addicted to pornography and masturbation, like once you're addicted to pornography and there's no other person for you to have sex with, and we know ladies, we take all these tools, some use cucumber, some use pencil, that actually damage their system. Why men, you have dildos, those kind of things that are not even, and most of these things are Christians doing it. Christians doing it. So now my question is now, so how do you think someone can actually, like someone being addicted to that, how do you think the person can actually come out of that, both pornography and masturbation?
Well, whatever they call addiction means that if you want to stop anything called addiction,
okay,
it is with you being selfless or being, how do I put this now? It is you with a lot of discipline. The discipline will affect you, but then you have to bear the cost of being disciplined. Now, for you to drop any kind of addiction, though we're speaking on sex today, or probably masturbation and all of that, how can they overcome it? Number one thing is, if you know that most times you engage in it, and you cannot be with people and you engage in it. It means that most of your time, don't isolate yourself.
Exactly, yes.
Don't isolate yourself.
Exactly, yes.
Make sure if you know you want to fight it, which is if it's to be difficult for you to stop it. It means that if you find yourself in most time, you have to not isolate yourself. always find where people are. Always find yourself in it. If you know that, you have to notice the kind of time. Some people might be in the evening, late at night, probably when they are suffering health. Then it means that the discipline you'll be putting in means that at that point in time, when it is 8 o'clock, it is discipline. You know, it is by 8 o'clock you'll be alone. You can set the discipline that from 8 o'clock now, I don't want to go online again. I don't want to solve the net again.
Yeah, and even this, the way we think.
And yes, of course.
Yeah.
Most times it starts from our thoughts, from our mind. And all of these things would not really happen if you put God out of it.
Yeah.
Because addiction is not something that you can say, but I don't want to do this again. You understand? So for you to overcome masturbation or any form of addiction leading to premarital sex, it means that you have to apply a lot of discipline.
Yeah, and also partner pressures. Like, for example, now my own boyfriend, I have a boyfriend, and he's telling me that we should for this as long as our relationship lasts, we must have sex. And this is what is actually bothering Christian sisters now, the Christian teenagers in quotes.
One of the ways to get off this kind of addiction or get off this kind of act is by having a mutual agreement with your partner. Which is very important. You must have mutual agreement. If you have mutual agreement with your partner, you can abstain from all of his premarital sex and all of that. Then again, how do people who have been involved in it, how do they go out?
And some of them don't know how to stop.
They don't know how to stop. Number one thing, as part of what I've said before, is that if you are still keeping it secret, it will still remain with you.
Yes, like
if you like, go to mountain
and pray.
Go to mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. Go and pray, go and fast. Because you are not voicing out, because you are not finding somebody to confess your whatever act to, you can still be indulging it. Because you be indulging it, I mean.
Yeah.
So it means that for you to get out of it and for you to stop it, you must open up to somebody. And for those of you that are still in it, advice is that you will definitely stop, but involve God. Involve God.
Yeah.
Even there are sometimes that if you voice out, go for counseling, find somebody that you can confide in and confess. You know, even all of that, if you are still leaving God out of it, like, God, I know what I'm doing is wrong. I know what I'm doing, it is not right for me. But God, I need you to help me. I've taken necessary steps as human, but God, I need your help. So I think that is the best way that we can abstain from all of these things.
And to the females who think they cannot tell, like, their pastors, they can go up to meet their pastoress, like the pastor's wife, meet up with your youth leader that are females, and I think they can help you. So please, Jesus loves you, so you need to come out of this. So guys, that's what we have for you all on today's episode. And don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, you are missing a lot. So subscribe, like, and what?
Comment in the comment box.
Questions.
And don't forget to also click on the notification bell,
so we get notified whenever we drop a new video. See you guys in our next episode.
We love you.